Hello and welcome to my second photo edit tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to turn this into this. So before we start, I want to let you know that this effect looks different in every picture. Depending on how light or dark the picture is, it's always going to look different. To show you, I've already used these two pictures so you can see the difference that comes out in each picture. Now the effect, of course, is to make the eyes bright and the skin, you know, kind of like pale, to make the eyes really stand out. Okay, well, with that said, let's go ahead and start. The first thing you want to do, of course, is open your picture. Once you have your chosen picture open, you want to go to your background layer. You want to right click and duplicate it. Next, you want to go up to adjust, hue and saturation, and colorize, and set both to 0. Press OK. Next, you want to right click on your black and white layer and you want to duplicate. So you should have 3 layers. 1 color and 2 black and white. Now what you want to do is get your eraser tool, set it to a small size, you know, about the size of the eye, a little bit smaller, and you want to get in real close and selecting the first black and white layer, erase the eye area, just the part of the color of the eye. Okay, and do that for both eyes. Whoops, my opacity set really low. Okay, once you have done the top layer, we're going to move it down to the bottom, the black and white layer, which would be the second one, and erase that too. And you can go back and forth between layers until you can see the full eye color. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now if you accidentally erased any other part of the eye, you can just go to it and right click and it'll turn it back. I turned a few places here. Okay, so once you have erased the eyes out, go ahead and set the first black and white layer. We're going to change the blend mode to screen, and then the second black and white layer, we're going to set the blend mode to overlay. So your first black and white layer should be set to screen and your second set to overlay. And your picture should look something like this. Okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and erase the hair area so it won't look so dull. So I'm going to get my eraser, I'm going to bring it up in size a bit. I'm going to change the hardness to 0 and the opacity to 7. Okay. And on the first black and white layer, I'm going to go ahead and erase part of his hair. Just kind of blotch it out. And I'm going to do the same for the second layer. Now make sure you don't erase any part of the face or skin. Okay. Whew. Next, you want to go ahead and right click, merge, and merge visible, so you go back to having one layer. Next, you want to go ahead, right click, and duplicate that layer, and go up to adjust saturation, adjust hue and saturation, and colorize, and set it to black and white. Now here we're going to go ahead and do the same thing and erase the eyes out. So on your black and white layer, get your eraser tool and erase the part of the eye. Okay. Next, you want to lower the opacity on the black and white picture down to somewhere between 24 and 30. Or you can just play around with it to see what you prefer. I'm going to put it to 24. Okay. And that looks pretty good. Next, we're going to go ahead and add color to the cheeks. So open up a new layer, a new raster layer, and let's get the paintbrush. Set it to whatever size you want, the hardness to 0, and your opacity down to 36. Or you can do lower than that. It's up to you. And just paint some pink on the cheeks. Okay. And now, so that it doesn't look so funny, we're going to go ahead and change the blend mode down to screen or overlay, whatever you prefer. I think I'm going to use overlay. In some pictures you can also use color, which here doesn't work because the sides become too pink. So I'm going to stick to overlay. And you see I went over a little bit with the pink, so I'm going to get my eraser brush and erase the parts of the pink I don't need. I'm going to get in pretty close. I'm going to lower my opacity so that I can blotch out some areas here. If it comes out too pink, you can just lower the opacity on your eraser brush to like a 7 or 8 and just blotch out the pink areas, and it'll lighten them up so it won't look so pink. Okay, that's pretty good. Next, we're going to go ahead and do the eyes. So click on your color layer, and I'm going to use my magic wand tool for this, because freehand. And what I like to do is either click on the color layer and just keep clicking on the eye until I get it all, and in most instances I'll get part of the eyelashes and things like that, and I'll just take it out with the freehand selection. Or you can click on the black and white layer, set your match mode to opacity, and it'll select the eye for you. The problem with this is that, as you can see, not all of the eye is selected. Whoops. So I'm going to go ahead and change it to RGB value to look right. So I do it this way. Okay, now that you have the whole eye selected, let me go ahead and clean this up a bit. Just kind of like get the eyelashes out of the way. So once you have the eye selected, go ahead and right click on the color layer and promote selection to layer. Now you want to set your blend mode to dodge, and and then go up to selections and select none. Okay, and you have pretty dodged eyes. Now if they're a little bit too dark still, what you can do is get your dodge brush, and on the bottom layer, the color layer, just pass it over the eyes one good time, and it'll brighten them up. Now if it brightens them up too much, what you can do is just lower the opacity. And you can get a less intense effect. Okay.